You're watching the Green Machine Live, your home for Irish football news and nostalgia. David Dunn here, joined by Martin Prendergast. And on tonight's programme, we're going to be talking about Evan Ferguson. Well, a bit of Spurs interest. Should he stay? Should he go? We'll talk about that tonight. Also, we're going to talk about how our boys in green got on over the weekend. And we're going to talk about Roy Keane, Roy Watch, and what he thinks of Daniel Sturridge and what you think of Daniel Sturridge. All of that and more coming up on tonight's Green Machine. And of course, we are Irish football's most interactive podcast. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your comments. We will get to those during the programme. So anything we're talking about, nothing's off the table. Ask us whatever you want. Say whatever you want. Within reason. And we'll get to it. And also, if you want to follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X. Twitter. We're going to call it Twitter. You can follow us on those platforms. And also you can head over to the website, greenmachinepodcast.com, greenmachinepodcast.com for more news and opinion and all that happy stuff. Martin, welcome back. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Thank you, Dave. I missed last week's show, sadly, but I did give it a good listen. So, yeah, really enjoyed it. And, yeah, good to be back covering all Irish footballers, obviously playing in the domestic league. Are we allowed to say that?
Well, no, we can, because we live in Blighty, but the other fella can't. Yeah. I don't know. He said he had some important business. You reckon he's watching United against Wolves? Wolves at the moment. I think Doherty was on the bench.
Ireland. I was going to say Ireland's Matt Doherty and Joe Hodger on the bench for Wolves. Man United have struggled in this. I have watched some of it, but yeah, Varane has just scored, so they're 1-0 up about 79th minute. So
United are 1-0 up.
1-0 up. Yep. Happy to hear that, aren't you, Dave?
Yeah. Well, no, we don't talk about the Premier League on this podcast, Martin, as well. As I've said in the past. We do have plenty to talk about. I mean, how was your week? Much to report? Anything going on in Prendergast land?
Yeah, plenty going on, Dave. But very busy. I'm actually going over to Ireland now next week, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm actually going to go to the Hurling for Cancer, which is in Carlo this year. It's on Monday night. Paul McGrath was at that last year, so I got to meet him at that and had a lovely photo with him. So hoping to recreate that again, see how he is. But yeah, they get a lot of great, obviously a really worthy cause. And yeah, you got a lot of stars there from horse racing, hurling, obviously GAA, and soccer and football. Soccer, can we call it that?
No, we can't.
Yeah, but you get Paul McGrath there. Stephen Hunt usually plays in it as well, so it's good to catch up with him. But yeah, it's normally good. So I'm going over to that in Ireland next week. I'm looking forward to that.
No, very nice. No, my week was pretty uneventful. The last couple of days wasn't too good. I have a loan, as most people do, and they couldn't take my loan out today, bank loan, because I was £9 in the minus because my Amazon thing came out, so he wouldn't take it. He put it back in, and I rang him up and said, "Okay, I get what's happening. Can I pay it now?" And he said, "No, because we might take it again in a week's time." And I said, "Well, will that affect my credit score?" "Oh yeah, it might do." "But why?" "Because it's a late payment." "But I'm trying to pay you now." "Yeah. But you won't let me pay it now." "No, well, I'm sorry." Joys of the modern world, anyway. This is what happens, kids, when you're a grown up.
That's it.
You deal with stuff. Anyway, that's enough on all that stuff. We got a few people watching, got a few comments coming in. As always, you can leave a comment, get involved. We are Irish football's most interactive podcast show. You can say whatever you want here within reason. And we are going to get to the first topic, to the first part of the show, and that is the state of play. Of course, nothing really else to talk about. A bit of a quiet week, I suppose. And that will be Mr. Evan Ferguson. First game of, spoiler alert for our boys in green, first game back, was a 70-minute substitute, I think it was. And then obviously scored a lovely goal. Bit of a rascal of a goal, wasn't it? He took it away from his teammate. He actually slid in.
Yeah, no, it wasn't going in though, was it? He had to finish that.
So. Oh, yeah. Natural goal scorer.
Brilliant. Yeah, look, I think I've said it before in the podcast, we have to start getting really carried away with this. I don't think there's any shame in it, to be honest. Look, we've had many years of watching Irish football in the doldrums, really. Struggling to compete, struggling to qualify for tournaments. We've now got a few players now who I think we are going to be seeing in the green shirt for many years to come, and they are the real deal. Without doubt, he is. Yeah. I think the fact that on Match of the Day, Alan Shearer, Micah Richards and Gary Lineker are talking about an 18-year-old Irish player is amazing. And
Here's
yeah,
what,
that's the tweet, wasn't it?
here's what Gary Lineker said about it on his Twitter. I'm going to read it out for our audio listeners. Evan Ferguson scores in Fergie time. He's a born goal scorer. If I was in charge of recruitment at Spurs, I'd take a punt on him as Kane's replacement. Apologies to Brighton fans. He did actually say a match today, didn't he? That you need to go after this guy, and I probably shouldn't say that. Well,
yeah, I mean, look, I was in Manchester at an event with Gareth Maher when he done the away days book, and there was a Q&A then, and John O'Shea was at it, John Walters, Shay Given, and Stephen Ward and Lee Fahy were at it, and they're all asked about Evan Ferguson, and he just actually renewed his contract, extended his contract to Brighton at that time. And I put up today a video clip of John O'Shea saying, that he's done amazingly well at Brighton. We need him to keep playing for Ireland's purposes, and hopefully one day maybe see him in the right side of Manchester, is what he said. So check out the clip, of course. But he, that's back in April. He has kicked on. I know I think he kind of had injuries at the end of last season, but he's played for us now and he's scored goals. He's 18 years old, leading the line. I think we do have to compare him to the situation we had with Robbie Keane. Now, Robbie, we know he came over.
Inter.
Yeah, he went to Inter very, very young, on the back of a great goal scoring season. And yeah, all right. But what he learned in that year at Inter, again, playing with Ronaldo and amazing players, what he learned there definitely stood him in good stead going forward in his career, without a doubt. It wasn't successful probably to some people as it was, but Robbie had an amazing career in the Premier League and one of the best ever Premier League players and one of our best ever players. And I think Evan Ferguson, like Gary Lineker said, the fact they've sold Harry Kane for 100+ million, you've got to be looking. I know he's extended his contract, but and I know he's 18, he's raw and everything. Everyone say, he can develop and stuff. Wayne Rooney was raw and was doing it at 16, 17, 18. I don't think he's going to suffer from burnout. He's going to be managed very well by Stephen Kenny or the Ireland manager, whoever that may be in future. But also Brighton have looked after him. I think he will get given time. The football's changed now. It's a massive squad game now. And I think when the player is performing, no matter what their age is, it's like Rashford as well. He came into Man United quite young. You've got to let him play.
He didn't play. He didn't play a lot of preseason football, did he?
No, he
There was a question asked here, what's going on with that? I was like, and you always think of the young player, maybe because of Aaron Conley, you think, has he become too big for his boots?
We got carried away, yeah.
Yeah, no,
I don't think we're going to get that with him. I think
he's just wrapping him cotton wool, deservedly.
Yeah. And I think though with him is we're just gonna see him get better and better. I think if he goes and gets 4 or 5 goals now up to January, he could go on a scoring run very easily because he's been proven in the Premier League. He scores goals there. If he gets a run of games and gets goals, I think there will be a bidding war. Teams who need a striker will have to come in and buy him because he's at the optimum time for it. It's like when Wayne Rooney was brought years ago. That's it.
And we got actually another tweet here from Melissa Reddy from Sky. Brighton's exceptional trading shows no signs of stopping. Club believe they already have the next British record transfer brewing in Evan Ferguson, and for good reason. Now, people are going to look at. When Nick sent that over, I thought, we would do this a lot in Ireland where it's, he's not British, he's Irish. And I thought, no, he doesn't. And then, Nick goes, no, I know that. It's the fact that it's a British transfer record because it's going to take place from a British club. But yeah, he's got all the tools, left foot, right foot, header, inside the box, outside the box. He's just there. He was even that goal he scored was on the counter. And he just knew where to be. That is a natural goal scoring instinct. Also, he had one off the post as well.
That was amazing, that chance.
Touch was beautiful. The way he turned, now it was Luton, and Luton were terrible, and they are a dreadful side. They're going to go straight back down. But still, he turned him, hit off the post. It was phenomenal. This guy does really look like the real deal. Now, Spurs apparently are looking at him. There's been, no bid has been made or anything like that. He needs to keep playing at Brighton, doesn't he? He probably needs to be there for about another 3 years. He's only 18, isn't he? So he needs to be there till he's like early 20s and then move on to a tippy top club.
No, I don't agree. I think if he scores goals now, you get him into a top team and he'll get even better. Like, you've got to fast track him. We fast tracked him with Ireland. You got to fast track him. If he's at Brighton, they're not going to be consistently brilliant for the next 3 years. They've done very well last year. I mean, a fantastic model of a club who sell and their players for amazing money, and they must have. I think even Bose will benefit from a sell-on clause, won't they? I think from him when he does go eventually. But I think the times now, you got to hit when it's like we can't wait 2-3 seasons. He needs to start winning stuff as well. He's going to be too good for that. I'm hoping. No, but still. No, like I said, I would compare it to like Rooney and like his build is he is a boy in a man's body. Like he's a proper unit.
A man in a boy's body, you mean?
Is that what I say?
You said a boy, you said a man in a boy's body.
All right, sorry, yeah. There you go. But my point, yeah. But my point still stands. He's physically very, very strong, and I think we've got to just let him progress, look after him. There's a reason we're reliant on him now, and he's our main striker now for Ireland.
He is. I mean, that wouldn't take much, to be fair. But this is where I disagree.
It would, though. It would, though, if you think about it. Only that Callum Robinson was injured after he got a hat-trick and stuff like that. He was the main man, wasn't he, for a while? I know international football was a bit weird. Then Obafemi was the main man, and you think Anogbene's been there. And now, this is the guy who started against France, and, I think we have to really push him on.
Yeah, but if he plays for a big club, right? And I was actually having a chat with my mate, if he's watching, a good mate of mine, Jay. He's probably watching United match as well, actually. And the problem is with a lot of Premier League clubs, the big Premier League clubs don't produce a lot of top talent because, and this is the issue I would have with Evan Ferguson, that if he doesn't hit the ground running with a top club, for whatever reason, you don't get a lot of chances because they're under tremendous pressure to win things. That's why you don't see a lot of top clubs like Liverpool, for example. Who they had in the last few years? They've had Trent Arnold, Alexander-Arnold, and you've had Curtis Jones. That's it. That's who's come through the academy in the last, we're talking since John Flanagan and that sort. Do you know what I mean? Like there's that pressure. That's what I'd be worried about. And I think when he's ready, about 23, 24, to move on to a top, like someone like Fernando Torres, he was let to go, wasn't he, for a number of years? He was a captain when he was like 19 or 20. Moved to Liverpool in his early to mid-20s, and so he did there. So I don't know. I'd be quite right. Just with the Premier League, just the way football is at the moment, there's so much pressure. You don't hit the ground running, and he's only a boy. He is only a boy in a man's body, as we tried to say earlier. So I would be reticent on that factor. But look, I think he's got bags. I mean, this guy keeps going. As long as he stays injury-free as well, he needs a bit of luck, as any player does in that stage, because he's still developing. And if he remains injury-free in his development years, this guy is going to be the world's limit. Like, the sky is the limit for this guy.
I think he will go to the top. And my final kind of word on this would be, though, is I think I've really sensed like a real change in the Premiership at the moment this year, right? With, some big names have gone out of the league. And there's a big transition, I think, like even some, the fact that Henderson's not there anymore and, some other players have left, haven't they? Yeah, they're not in the Prem anymore, going off for big money and things like that. I think there's a place now for like the main man now is obviously Haaland. You've got some really interesting kind of strikers. Newcastle signed the guy and the Diaby, I think, at Villa. There's place now for these new age of young players coming through, and I think Evan Ferguson is one of them. He's actually a name. If you think the fact of it is, on our first show of Match of the Day in England, they were talking about an 18-year-old Irish lad who came off the bench, and Shearer's saying every time I've seen him, he's been massively impressive. That they know, these lads know players, and they do the work in the background, and they know what's being said about him. And for Lineker to say after Kane going, he's a big player who's left the Prem as well. But we are going to be creating kind of new heroes in a way, and I think he's ready to step up. I know he's 18, but I think he's ready to step up.
Okay, I mean, as you say, Gary Lineker and Alan Shearer from two different periods, but phenomenal goal scorers in their day. Right, well, tell us what you think at home. We see some comments coming through. Keep them coming through, by the way. What do you think, Evan Ferguson? Should he stay? Should he go? Does he need to stay at Brighton? Does he need to move on like Martin? Do we need to fast track him like Martin wants to do and ruin his career, or do we want him to stay at Brighton? Tell us what you think in the comments. We're going to move it on to our lovely, lovely boys in green. So let's see how we got on over the weekend, except for not just Evan Ferguson, for everybody. No, it's a little bit slim pickings, but we'll get through it. So of course, Evan Ferguson got the goal for Brighton in a 4-1 win over Luton Town, who, by the way, were absolute muck. Did you see the goal?
I've seen the goal with the lad who's come up through the divisions from the
Yeah.
bottom. And it was, I felt so sorry for that. It's a brilliant story, but that is, I mean, look, they could have really gone to town on him on that. I mean, they did on that a little bit, but they could have, you don't see that at kids football, really.
What, to the Premier League?
It's a fantastic assist.
It was a lovely control the way he just followed.
Yeah.
We can't show it on here because we ripped off the air, unfortunately, but that was bad. Will Keane got a goal and assist for Preston North End in a 2-1 win over Sunderland. Sinclair Armstrong got a goal and assist for QPR in a 2-1 win over Cardiff. Speaking of which, actually, brilliant video that the club took here. And there's a bit of a story to this one. I'm going to play the video. This is Trevor Sinclair. Sinclair Armstrong. Sorry, I was thinking Trevor Sinclair all day. I don't know why. This is him giving his shirt to a fan in the crowd. Have a look at this. Sinclair giving his shirt to none other than QPR legendary fan and Ireland legendary fan and friend of the podcast, Mr. Declan Finnegan. Here he is there afterwards. Mad. He had his Ireland flag, didn't he? That's what the whole thing was there. And he sent a message to you there, Martin, didn't he? Man of the match, all aggressive, caused Cardiff defence all sorts of problems, scored his first competitive goal for the Oars and a great assist for his second. Went off knackered after 70 minutes. Came over after the game to my Ireland flag and jumped the barrier and gave me his shirt. So there you go.
Yeah, this is special. I think. Like, I love this interaction. Like, to be honest with you, Declan's not the type of fan who's going to be standing there asking for player shirts with a piece of card in his hand. He's loyal through and through to Ireland. He's been all over the world watching them as he did on our excellent show with him. Actually, we'd have done a great wherever green is warm. We did one with Declan. And involved with Wrist London for many years, as am I. But yeah, look, Deck said, I messaged him after the game. How did he go? How did he play? And all that kind of stuff. And that's what he messaged me back. So, and he kind of gave me a bit more. I've spoken to him since, but just that he'd been at the kit launch and he'd spoken to him then. And Sinclair Armstrong said, I always see the Ireland flag. And to be fair, Jimmy Dunn at QPR, big Irish contingent of supporters, the Irish R's, give them a shout as well. Jimmy Dunn always comes over to them. I think Jimmy Dunn's given Deck a shirt in the past. So, incredibly loyal to QPR for his sins. And he's going home and away watching them now. But he said, I'll look out for you at the kit launch. And then he brought him over the shirt after the game. And what I've loved to see this, though, is I've seen some brilliant interviews with him after. And he's a proper cult hero. I've got a few friends who are QPR and actually like not Irish fans who are QPR, but they love him as well. And
there he is.
Oh, there's Beck now, yeah. But I mean, I just love this. I think it just kind of reaffirms my faith in club football, basically, that you have players, and the Irish lads are unique, and the Irish girls as well. But you've got players who do appreciate support and stuff, and it's not all about money. And
different breed.
He's absolutely buzzing after that goal. And what I've seen is, it went completely viral, like some of the posts that we put up. We put up the video and my interaction with Declan, brilliant. And everyone's been commenting saying, "Oh, well done, Deck, and deserved." But QPR fans are saying, "What a great lad Sinclair Armstrong is." They're all delighted for him. hopefully he's going to kick on from this now. But I mean, I've seen some people always have to, with social media at the end of the day, you get people being negative. Stephen Kenny wouldn't even know who he is. But he's with Jim Crawford's under 21s. And I would say now, on the back of that, if you are an Irish fan, he's one of the lads coming through and get down to Turner's Cross in Cork, where they're playing on the Friday night. They're playing Turkey, and of the game after the France game, where a lot of us will be in Paris, but they are down in Turner's Cross. We've got a double header, basically, San Marino on a Tuesday, and there's plenty of tickets for that. But I'm hoping that he'll be one who's going to be in Jim Crawford's squad now, and we're going to see him, because
I think he's banging goals in.
Yeah, you love the enthusiasm of him, though. In his interviews, like, he's absolutely buzzing, and he does, as a player, though, he just looks like he offers something different. He's a little bit like Obafemi with the build and everything, the strength he seems to have. But like Deck said, he really caused problems for them. And Deck also messaged me, though, that it was against Cardiff, and he did say O'Dowda wouldn't be too happy with his part in, I think, the first goal as well. So,
there's a shock.
I had to get O'Dowda in there, of course. But look, I love it. I love the fact that we've got a player now who, is going to be, he's just young, living the dream, basically, and loved by them fans. And QPR fans will be incredibly loyal when they get behind him. And now he's scoring goals. So I think it's a great story.
He's scoring goals, and Calm Devils letting him in. Back to the Championship. Sammy Smolik's 2 goals and 1 penalty miss for Blackburn in a 2-2 draw with Rotherham United. There is actually a question. I'm breaking my own rule here, but I suppose it's quite pertinent here. Glenn Forbes, great to have you back. Great to be back, Glenn. We actually came back last week, but we'll talk more about that later on. Does Sammy Smolik deserve a call-up with his brace over the weekend? Thanks, fellas. I think he has to be. I mean, we'll talk about the squad a bit later on, but I think he does have to be. Kenny just doesn't fancy him, does he?
Well, it's just, he's going to be very loyal to the players who he's worked with so far, Kenny.
Yeah,
I don't see any great shocks, and it's not going to bring. No, but I mean, I can't see anything really changing too much with the squad, with the personnel. But fair play to him; he's keeping himself on the radar without doubt with that, and great goal, and a very good player who I think could be one that we do obviously have to keep an eye on.
Sammy, if you're watching, have a word with Callum O'Dowda and have a word with Jeff Hendrick. They seem to have the photos. Just saying. Aaron Connolly goal for Hull City in a 4-1 win over newly promoted Sheffield Wednesday, who probably are going to go flying back down again. Good to see young Aaron Connolly. Martin coming back just quickly there. Yeah, it was a poor. He pounced on a poor back pass, but he had to be there, didn't he? He had to read the situation quite well.
Yeah, it was a good, tidy finish and stuff. I'm glad for him. I want him to do well. I just can't see it maybe happening with Ireland maybe for a few years again, because he's been bypassed now. We've got better players, and he had his opportunity, and we want him to do well though. So fair play to him. And again, you've got to hit the ground running at the start of the season.
Been with the Ireland team, senior team, for 4 years now. Mad, isn't it? Made his debut in Georgia, didn't he?
Well, we got carried away, didn't we? But I think, but we did get carried away, and I think that's where people are a bit hesitant with the Evan Ferguson. But I think Ferguson's done it over months now, whereas Connolly had fits and starts, different type of player as well. And
that's fair. Conor Harahan, goal and assist, and James Collins with a goal for Derby County in a 3-0 win over Burton Albion. Danny Mandrew with a goal and 2 assists for Lincoln in a 3-0 win over Wycombe Wanderers, and Tyler Goodrum assist for Oxford United in a 1-0 win over Carlisle United. Just a bit more. Oh, actually, transfer news today, wasn't it? Armstrong Okoflex has gone to Zurich. Yeah. He was a free agent after he was released by the Hammers, and he's been snapped up in a 2-year deal. They're actually in the Champions League, or could be in the Champions League. It's not bad, is it?
No, it could happen. I mean, Nick would be. It's a shame Nick's not on because he obviously loves him. But look, I think fair play again. It's interesting that these kind of moves, to foreign climates. I suppose that we're off there doing that, and I just think some of these players. We had Keith Andrews at West London recently, and going to Italy and go to different countries. There's different kind of views of where they're best to develop, but it just shows you that we are casting the net, basically, and our players' agents are doing a fantastic job getting them opportunities. I mean, we saw Festi Abaselli do very well this week for Udinese. Fantastic assist, I think, in the game.
Yeah.
And again, he's one now that we've got to be thinking of. But, you know, like I said, I think Stephen Kenny's going to be very, very loyal to his squad.
More speaking of which, actually, squad is announced in 3 weeks' time. Martin, you got a bit of ticket news for us, but squad's announced in 3 weeks' time. We play France away on the 7th of September. Bit of ticket news, Martin. It would seem the Irish fans are speaking with their feet. Not a huge call on the tickets, is there? Not a lot of people really want them. Do you reckon the faith is draining away from Stephen Kenny?
Possibly. It was a question I was going to ask for you, because we're undersubscribed from basically from the allocation we could get. It's in part to France as well. I mean, that might appeal to some people who maybe hadn't been there. Thursday night in Paris perhaps doesn't appeal to a lot of people. We've been there quite often as well. But you know, in the back of holidays as well, it's that as a factor, I think. But yeah, I don't know. I just think, do you think it is a pace, basically people kind of talking with their feet? Because if you think in the context of the Holland game, for non-season ticket holders, this is the second game. So you kind of paid for that in the duo deal. So money's not coming out of your account in a way for the Holland ticket. So you don't have a Holland ticket to pay for, right? You paid for it. But here, the France game is to travel and going to France. So, I think... I don't know.
Well, before you answer that, you did ask me a question. I'm going to answer that in a second. For you guys watching at home, tell us what you think about this, what we're about to talk about. Look, I think it's starting to drain a little bit the Stephen Kenny, the appetite to have Stephen Kenny as manager. When you look at it, we were all right against France. The results haven't been great. Performances haven't been great. What was it, 3-2 against Latvia? After blowing another 2-0 lead, and then the game in Athens, there was a lot of Irish for that. So if they can go over to Athens, they can surely go to France. I mean, what is it? You just fly to London and get the Eurostar. That's how I'm getting the Eurostar over. Yeah. It's not that expensive to go to France. Obviously, there's the Rugby World Cup. There could be that as well. But to be fair, I just think a lot of people are looking at that thinking, do you know what? We're going to get a hiding in France, because we were terrible against Gibraltar. I don't care what anyone says. I was not a good performance. We got 3 goals. There was mistakes by Gibraltar, and we got, we didn't batter them into, conceding 3 goals. They were just poor, and we were poor. And I just think the confidence is draining out of the support for the manager, if I'm honest, because I mean, why wouldn't it? It's just, people are probably balancing it as well. Well, the rugby's on. Why are we going to watch it? We're going to get beaten. And that's what people are thinking. We're going to get beaten. We got Holland at home. If we don't get at least 3 points from those 2 games, we're out pretty much. Again, another early exit. So I just think it's at a very low ebb at the moment. I think the wind's been taken out of the machine a bit. Out of the sails, not the machine. And that's just my opinion on it. Of course, we will be there. Yeah. Come see us in Paris. Martin and I are going to be there, and I know Darren's going to be there. He's tapping away in the comments. Also, and also just want to apologise if there's some issues with my microphone. Don't know what's happening there.
Yeah, do let us know on the chat if there is a problem with any of the mics, because we do want to hear Dave. Well,
yeah. Sometimes you do.
Want to hear him? No, let's just double check this. I hope the mic is working, because you will miss Dave judging Callum O'Dowda on his performance against Norway, which he just will not forget. That Callum O'Dowda, on the last show which I listened to, I have to go on this rant now. I'm going on this rant now.
Who gave away the penalty?
I'm going on this rant now. Wait a minute, right? Is the fact of it is you went mad about Norway, then he went to Malta and he played quite well and he nearly scored, I think, and he went forward. He did play as attacking wing back then. He scored, didn't he, in one of our games from a wing back? He got up and scored a header in one of the games, scored his first goal for Ireland. So I think, you do just judge him on the Norway game. which I think is very harsh.
Sorry, just doing a reboot of the microphone. How does that sound?
Yeah, it sounds fine to me. But I just don't know if it's.
Yeah, I'm just sort of getting messages. People are telling me that my mic isn't working. I mean, I don't know what's happened there. I do apologise if that is the case. That you can't hear my dulcet tones as you normally would.
Listen to me.
Yeah, there's an issue with my audio. Okay, well, please let me know if it is fixed or not. But just going back, yes, we will be in Paris. Martin and I will. Declan Finnegan, I can hear you both.
Ah, well, there you go.
Oh, Darryl says you can hear me anyway. Okay, cheers, guys. I'll have a look at that. I don't know. My equipment here is on. Yeah.
Right, Dave. So, apologise to Callum O'Dowda and we'll just move on.
I'm never going to apologise to him. Never going to apologise to him. He was brutal. He was brutal against Norway. You even said it yourself. He was brutal.
I didn't say he was brutal against Norway. I just said
he gave away a penalty again in Athens.
I didn't say he's brutal against Norway. I said look at the game and look at what he's not doing. He's playing too safe. And you took my words. I'm glad you took my words as gospel and appreciated my opinion. But then you just quoted that one sentence I said and I've used it in every other game afterwards because he's good against Malta and scored.
But anyway, we're going to be live in Paris. Anyway, we're going to be walking around, Martin and myself, just getting an update there on my voice. The quality isn't, it's a bit rattly, but you can hear me. So I do apologise again there, guys. We are live, and that's one of the gremlins in the machine when you are live. So we'll get that fixed for the next one. But yeah, we're going to be in Paris. It's about the fifth time I tried to say that. We are going to be in Paris. We're going to be walking around, you and I, Martin, aren't we? The city of love, hand in hand. Yeah. And I know Darryl is on here. He's going to be in Paris with us as well. So we are actually going to be going around. We are going to be talking to people as well. You can see Callum O'Dowda coming at me with a broken bottle. I think Paris has enough crime over there anyway. But yeah, can't wait for it. It's going to be great crack anyway, so we'll see what happens. But we're going to move it on from the boys in green, and we are going to have a little look at a new segment, your favourite segment of the programme, Martin. It's a new one here. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but I had a little rejig here. It's Roy Watch.
That's his job.
How cool is that?
That is brilliant, yeah.
So basically, Roy Keane, he was back, and he was back on Sky Sports. And we can't play you any of the clips because Sky would shoot me. That's a joke, by the way. I don't want to be sued by Sky or Murdoch or whoever owns it at the moment. But yes, he had a new sparring partner. So instead of one annoying idiot like Michael Richards, now he has two. He's got it in stereo, and he has Daniel Sturridge. This is after Daniel Sturridge. What was it you said to Armstrong? Alexander Armstrong.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, and this is Roy Keane's face.
To who? Alexander Armstrong. Jesus, we've got a hybrid of Sinclair Armstrong and Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Alexander-Arnold. Oh my God. It's been a tough week.
He did say Sunky. Oh, I don't know what it was, but yeah, it was down with the kids basically, and I didn't
we're not down with the kids.
No,
no, and neither is Roy Keane by the looks of it there. Look at him there. That was his face afterwards. He must be thinking, what have I done to deserve this? Your thoughts on Daniel. When I saw Daniel Sturridge's name being announced on Sky Sports, I thought, oh God, I had my head in my hands. What did you make of the former Liverpool and Chelsea and Man City striker?
Do you know what? I probably would be against most of the public, I think, on this. I found him okay. I think the silliness stuff isn't great, but I actually found some of the things he said was quite sensible and quite refreshing in a way. And you got to think, pundits coming in, I think it's hard for them because it's a simple kind of job in a sense if you're a good pro and you know the game. But I thought he was okay actually. But I think the silliness of the initiation songs and stuff, and it was good crack though watching Roy. I like seeing Roy in that kind of awkward situation and where he's like, you just think Roy could kill him in a minute.
But there's supposed to be pundits, like there's supposed to be some form of analysis. I mean, I watched Michael Richards there on Match of the Day, and he is appalling. I mean, punditry is at a very low ebb anyway, across all the platforms. I mean, even RTE, you and I grew up in the whole Eamon Dunphy, Johnny Giles. Don't know how much of it you saw in the early 90s, but Johnny Giles, okay, we used to take the mick a little bit, to pen, hold it there. Now hold it there and used to draw that.
Yeah.
But to be fair, when you go back and watch it, his analysis was spot on. And Giles, his predictions were I always remember he predicted that when we played Romania in Italy 90, it'd actually go to penalties. He said I could see it going to penalties, Bill. Because I actually went back and rewatched it, and he was spot on.
Yeah.
So brilliant analyst. And then, of course, Andy Gray, annoying. However, a very good analyst. He could see things, he could call things when he was a colour commentator with Sky, and we know what happened to him. Then Gary Neville came in. I thought, Gary Neville, actually, I'm going to give this guy a chance. I'm going to read his book. He's one of those Marmite figures. And I read his book. I thought, I like this guy's attitude. I'm going to give him a chance. And I thought his punditry was superb. Carragher embellished that. Fantastic. Of course, you have Fergie, Carragher, and Neville. You've got Jamie Redknapp and Mike Lowen and all of those lads. But I just think it's in the toilet. The whole analysis side of the game. Although I'll get back to that in a second because I just had a look at Monday Night Football, and it's actually gone. It's actually beyond ridiculous now. But I just think the analysis of it now, they've gone for the bants and they've gone for all this kind of nonsense. I think once they put Sturridge in, they thought, you know what, we're going to put those three lads in the car and we're going to send them off to Ireland somewhere. Do you know what I mean? It's just, why would you watch it? I think Sturridge is just, oh my God, he's a clown.
I think it's a bit harsh to call him clown early days with it. He's relatively new to it.
Sang Usher.
The likes of, I know that, but that is the Sky production now. It's trying to be fun and not offend anybody, and we apologize for swearing and stuff and things like that when Guardiola's asked things. And it's that I like some of the stuff they do, but I think it has got a bit silly. Like the Roy and Mika Richards stuff was quite funny. I think even the overlap, the car journeys, things like that, they are quite good when they do it when it was relatively new, but it's getting a bit old hat now. But that's what I'm saying though. So I'm interested to know now what you think of Monday Night Football. Like, I thought it was really good tonight before the game, the analysis of the Chelsea midfielder and the scan and stuff. Like, I watch a lot of football, obviously, with Keane, and he's a young 12-year-old, and I'm, he's being coached and shown different things. I think that's quite not. I was actually going to send a message to the football lads parents group and said, if anyone's watching Monday Night Football, or get the lads to watch this, because this is kind of things that they need to start looking at now in their game. Just to kind of know like that kind of thing happen. But I thought it was quite good. But I actually thought it was good tonight. Maybe I haven't watched it for quite a while though, so I find it quite nice. Although I didn't like the mechanics of the men. Was that what you were talking about?
Yeah, that sort of thing where you can get it from their view. Here's what I don't like about that. You have two defenders, Neville and Carragher, and they're trying to talk about what pass a creative midfielder should take. That's nonsense.
Yeah, but they had the crap though, didn't they? Before when they analysed the goalkeepers, and every goalkeeper was in uproar saying you can't slag off a goalkeeper. You've never been a keeper. So they've got, and then I think they got Schmeichel on it. Then a few weeks later, so I think it does open up debate with it, and I kind of do enjoy them. I enjoy them too.
I think it's redundant. I think it's redundant. And Karen Carney's a striker. What would she know about? She might know about receiving a pass, but if you're trying to talk about, here's how this guy should play that, you weren't a midfielder. How do you know? Yeah. You don't know. You don't. So I just think that's all redundant. I was watching. I thought it was overkill. I see what they're trying to do, but that argument's redundant unless you have a person. The idea of punditry and an expert, as Bill Hurley used to say, or panel of experts, is that you've played in that position. So if you can have two ex-pros, right, two defenders on the panel, and they're just talking about the game, as a whole. But when you go down to nitty gritty and you're trying to talk about each position, then, and a specialist position as a creative midfielder is, then you need to have a creative midfielder to talk about that. Otherwise, it's redundant. What would a defender know about what a goalkeeper should be doing? I mean, there's obvious stuff like come off your line, that kind of stuff, but his feet should be here. Like, you don't know. You don't know, Martin. I'm just saying.
No, I think Sky though are a little bit. They're another level above Match of the Day's analysis but I think then Match of the Day people probably don't want it overanalyzed in a way. You know, you'll have Micah Richards going on about, look, they sit in here for 2 banks of 4 and they're very good. Like how they ripped Luton apart yesterday. They could have gone a lot more into depth on that, on their performance and how they were just naive. What I found, again, not to go off on a tangent, but the hardest working team is what we have. Like, you know, like, you've got to work hard in football, right, to make it as a player. And that what I would say from the Luton game, for example, and they highlighted that people aren't busting the gut to get back. And tonight, actually watching Man United at one stage, Garnacho, who I thought was actually awful, you know, he lost the ball, but geez, Mason Mount got back and defend. Like the speed they got back, like these top teams, how hard they work. And I think that's interesting. I like the analysis of that.
That analysis I like.
Yeah,
I saw that actually with AA. That's why I call him AA, because I can never remember. When he lost the ball against Chelsea, and you can actually see from the angle, like he just did that, and you know he overran at the Ukrainian lad. So yeah, and you show you from those different angles. I like that sort of stuff because that brings home what I mentioned. But I think when you're going into the whole virtual reality and you got 2 defenders and the striker talking about how creative midfielders should play a pass,
I think Sky do a lot of cross promotion though, and it is all silly and gimmicky. You know, like it's just the greatest show. And I mean, Friday night, because of the business model of the ownership of Burnley now with the American ownership, and they had an NFL investor, and they had another girl who'd played for the US team. She's an investor in that business model of ownership of Burnley. And it's all cross promotion to their TV show where they covered Burnley behind the scenes last year. Now, what's the first episode of that? Why I mentioned it on this Irish football podcast is obviously it features Josh Cullen quite a bit. Very, very good. Like really, really good show, to be fair. I found it really fascinating. Now, it's a little bit like Sunderland Till I Die and all them other shows, but it's quite interesting in the business model and, you know, getting, you know, I think Vincent Kompany as well. I think I've spoken about Burnley last year on this as well when we've spoken about the context of
a great start, didn't they?
Yeah, well, against City, they played quite well. They did play really well. Again, hard working team. That's where they are different to. That's where they're different to Luton. Like 2 teams came up, one team relentless, working hard against the champions, treble winners. They weren't the first treble winners, of course, but they were a treble winner. But
did you see the company, like what he was wearing? He looked like something from 1985.
I really like him though. I think he's and again we what a question I've got to you, Dave. I don't you think it's mad that we were moaning for so long that we've had weeks on this Obig where we haven't had a player play in the Premier League, I think, recently, and now we've got, I think, 3 captains. 3: James Coleman, Cullen, and John Egan.
Yeah.
Right, so 3 captains in 20 teams. It's just mental, and then we've got a top striker. Obviously, I won't go on about Evan Ferguson again, but and Chidozie and stuff. Like we've got players in the Prem now. Again, I think it's just amazing to see that. And
yeah, it's looking good, but it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while to generate.
Better though.
Yeah, it is indeed. Right, we're going to move it on. That's Roy Watch. I'm going to play that little thing one more time. I do love this.
That's his job.
That's for you, Martin. Right, we're going to move it on to the comments. Plenty of comments, by the way. Keep them coming in. We'll try and get through them all. Hopefully you can hear me. John Griffin, as always, big thumbs up from you, pal. Darrell O'Connor. Yes, the lads are on Class Edition on a Monday night. Yeah, we endeavour to be on every Sunday at 9:30. It just couldn't happen this weekend. My bad. And we will probably move back to 9:30 Sunday again next week, but we'll always put adverts out and we'll try and let you guys know. But thank you very much for making the crossover. Darrell Con again. Moral of the story: bankers are bastards. Alluding to my earlier story, yes, they are. And you know the funny thing was, she turns around and goes, "Well, I'm sorry, that's just how that's to do with your bank. But I bank with Lloyd's. You are my bank. Oh no, we're nothing to do with Lloyd's to bank." I was like, okay. It was just too complicated anyway. That's another podcast. Graham Farrell, good to see you back, boys. Never know when yous are on. Graham, good to have you. A mainstay last season. We are on every Sunday at 9:30. Same bat time, same bat channel every week, except for this week where it's a Monday. But we'll always be 9:30 Sunday or Monday. So just check the literature that we put up on all the different pages there. But yeah, 9:30 Sunday or Monday, but more likely Sunday. Darrell O'Connor, crying out for Robbie Keane for years. Dare we say Evan Ferguson is the man? Well, I guess you and Martin are singing from the same hymn sheet. Great endorsement from Gary, but I want him to stick with Bright. Good man, Darrell. I like Darrell. Darrell's a good lad, actually. Really helped me in Athens when Martin abandoned me over there. David Hayes, the money being spent on transfers lately is absolute madness. 130 million euro for Casido. Oh, is that what that translates to? What's 111 million pounds for Casido? Surely Evan Ferguson will land Brighton another substantial windfall. He has proven he's got what it takes. I agree. I saw one comment, could be the first 200 million pound player. Who knows? Graham Farrell again. Generally think because of the state of Spurs, he should stay at Brighton. They're in Europe, and De Zerbi seems to get the best out of them. Yeah, they did look like a proper unit against Luton, but they were terrible to be fair. Rob Aladine, love the podcast. Thank you very much, Rob. We love doing it. Darrell O'Connor, we're really not used to really positive news, are we? So good to have it with Evan. Well, you and Martin are singing again from the same hymn sheet. Mr. Positivity over there. Look at that grin on Martin's face. Hollywood smile. Glenn Forbes, great to have you back. Great to be back, Glenn. Does Sammy Smollett deserve a call-up with a brace over the weekend? Thanks, fellas. I did read it out earlier, sorry. Yes, he does, but he won't get one. Del O'Brien. Ferguson should definitely stay in Brighton for at least a couple more years. Good man, Del. Interesting nonsense over on YouTube. High praise by two legends like Lineker and Shearer. This kid, Ferguson, is going right to the top of the game. Is that you, Martin? Is that what you were typing away at earlier on? Except your nonsense isn't interesting. Darrell O'Connor seems like a great kid. Great lad. Sinclair Armstrong. Say Deck is delighted. He absolutely is, and he is watching. Darrell O'Connor again. I hate to keep bringing it back to the kits, lads, but at home and away, his story is still not growing on me. The training gear is shite. I'm still not bought by the new crowds. Can't get used to it. Thoughts? Well, I have seen it live. Not live, in the flesh, in the shops. You've got a couple behind you there, Martin. What do you think? Has it grown on you yet?
I like it. My one behind, which I'll drag it off. Here we go. I'll just show that up to the camera. It's a very special one. This one, that is signed by the Women's World Cup squad. So I'll show off, just showing that. I'm trying to get my camera right. There you go.
Yes,
that's up for the latest one. But yeah, I'm very happy. Very happy I got that.
And what was the question?
Yeah, what was the question? Showing off his merchandise again. And that's an official one, by the way. And I'm still after a blue Bazunu shirt, if anyone knows where I can get it.
There's a man on Twitter. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that again. Jesus.
Do listen to the back catalogue of.
Yeah, it's a running joke.
For the context.
Yes, just not if you're John Courtney. Glenn Forbes. I think Ferguson should hang on at Brighton this season. A good manager there, and if he can keep knocking the goals in, maybe looking to move at the end of the season. Do you think he'd fit into the Ange Ball style at Spurs? Angelo Postecoglou. Drew 2-all with Brentford there, a massive work in progress. He's actually done very well, Ange Postecoglou, hasn't he, wherever he's gone. He is a good coach.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, he is very good. And it was interesting. Nathan Collins played quite well, I thought, yesterday, spraying some lovely passes around. He's a record signing for Brentford. Which in the context of, I mean, look, we had a comment there about the money being spent in the game. It's ridiculous. The stat of Burnley the other night, which was that, the defenders at Man City cost more than Burnley have ever spent on their squad. So it's ridiculous stats. So yeah, that's what teams are trying to compete against. And
that's what happens when you financially dope like Man City, allegedly.
Wow.
And that shot has been sprung out to a particular listener who hasn't commented. He knows who he is. Darrell O'Connor. Sorry, Martin, but I doubt it shouldn't be in the squad.
Ridiculous.
Do you know what, Darrell? Like, I feel a kindred spiritual sort of thing going on there. It's like he reads my mind. Brilliant stuff, Darrell.
Can't be having a scapegoat. O'Dowd's not a scapegoat for this.
He's not a scapegoat. But he shouldn't.
We're in Ryan Manning should be in the Ireland squad. We know that on the left, but he's not been picking him for whatever reason. O'Dowd has been asked to do that job. I would have him definitely up further forward. O'Dowd is
off the pitch.
No, as a wing back, I think he does offer something. And like again, now I think it is a
for the other
shame
team.
like Mikey Johnson injured is going to allow O'Dowda to be in there again. But I think he's a good squad player, and I think he's just been very unlucky with injuries. And he's look, he was I think he was man of the match for Cardiff in their first game of the season. So we can't rule him out completely.
That's impressive.
Well, look, we're talking about Irish players who are doing well. We've just gone through our Obig and players who've done well with us.
I didn't see Callum's name there. Did you?
Well, but you did the week before. You did the week.
Yeah,
before.
You weren't on it, though, Martin.
No, but
you can't keep harking back to the past.
But you still mentioned Norway for some reason.
Norway, Athens. You gave away the penalty.
Yeah, but this is ridiculous. We can't be
over. Ridiculous. He's a
one-off things. No,
it's not a one-off thing though. Just look, you want to die on that hill. Best of luck to you, Mr. Positivity over there. The end of the day is he shouldn't be in the team as a wing back. Quite frankly,
he shouldn't be a left back, and that's where he was tactically was asked to play against Greece. Like basically, he was pinned back so far that he was too.
Because he couldn't get out of the bloody half. Couldn't get out of the box.
Yeah, because they didn't play out, did they? So that's the problem with it. But I think it's Look,
right. We're moving on. We're moving on. Just we know I'm right. Daryl O'Connor against France. I definitely have Manning on that. Les Smallbone offered nothing against the Greeks. Oh God, Daryl, 2 shots across the Prendergast here. There, love it.
Oh, don't come for the cousins.
And Knight seems to be doing well, so I'd swap them. Evan and Obafemi over front. Yeah, I'd go with that. Smallbone.
Obafemi won't be fit though.
No,
Obafemi won't be fit.
Smallbone he's got huge potential, but he did against. To be fair, he did set up the goal. I think Colin's got the goal in Greece, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was the assist for that. So look, he does have potential, Smallbone, but yeah, he was. I mean, no one performed well that night, maybe other than Collins. Declan Finnegan again. Stephen Kenny has been watching a lot of Championship football lately. He was at Norwich v Hull the weekend before March. He must be aware of Smolix. Well, I don't know what's happening there. But Declan Finnegan again met Norwich v Hull the weekend before last, not March. I was thinking. Greg Farrell again. Haven't seen the highlights, but heard on BBC Radio that he absolutely bullied the Cardiff Black Four. This is young Armstrong. Judging by the video, Armstrong is an absolute unit of a lad. Believe Jason Knight and Sammy Smolix were class this weekend too. Hope Aaron Conley can finally get his head down and turn his career around. The future's looking bright, to be fair. The under-21s under Crawford actually play decent football as well. Not afraid to mix it up if we have to. Good man, Graham. Daryl O'Connor, was the rumour Kenny needs 2 points to stay on from them 2 games? Yes, I think it was actually 2. Was it 2 points he needed? That was the rumour, wasn't it? Yeah. Sorry, I think I said 3. Yeah, it has to be 2 points. Otherwise, they can actually fire him without a severance package. I believe. I might be wrong. Dennis Grenell, Kenny out. Oof. Declan Finnegan, accommodation horrendously expensive in Paris due to Rugby World Cup. Yeah, I mean, hasn't stopped us before though. To be fair, I know the Rugby World Cup's on. I got my accommodation months ago. I took a chance and just kind of booked it, and I was lucky. Paul Culleton, cheers for the fantastic show, lads. Do you think Blackburn Rovers attacking midfielder Sammy Smolix has a realistic chance of getting game time under Stephen Kenny for the boys in green? No. He should, but he won't. Because, as Martin rightly said earlier on, he's just very loyal to the players that just constantly let him down.
But bar a spate of injuries, he won't probably be in the squad, I wouldn't think.
Yeah. Graham Farrell, yes, it's mental day with the shambles with us. Liverpool as well is nuts, just talking about the money there. Just a little bit about Liverpool. Absolute mental. 8-year contracts being handed out by Chelsea, and crazy. It's all gone to man. Football will burst. It will burst, and I will laugh when it does. Sorry, that sounded very callous. Paul Culleton again. And does Sinclair Armstrong keeper have a chance of making a senior in Ireland international debut before the end of 2023? I don't know. I suppose he has to keep. What do you reckon, Martin? I suppose he just has to keep knocking them in, doesn't he?
We can't get too carried away.
He's not Evan Ferguson, Paul, so we can't get carried away.
Exactly. We can't get. Well, Evan Ferguson's done it for over a year now, and made his international debut and scored at the senior level. So I think he's got his first goal for QPR, done very, very well. He's got to be the starting man now for QPR, and do really well for the under-21s. It's probably going to a little bit hinder on what Tom Cannon does, what his choice is really as well. I'll just put that out there to annoy people. Because look, there's an opportunity to obviously go with the under-21s and score a load of goals there, and then he's in the reckoning, isn't he? Look, Evan could be in the under-21s, so you just don't know.
You wrote a wonderful
before the end of the year, though, the November one, like it depends on that November game if it's a dead rubber, how the new I was gonna say new manager.
A Freudian slip.
Yeah, but it would just depend on that. That will be the game. He won't bring him in for a qualifier. That's meaningful.
Of course, you wrote a wonderful piece on Tom Cannon, and hopefully we'll get that to you before the end of the year. Sorry, it's an inside baseball joke. Interesting nonsense regarding the France game. The rugby is on, and the price of accommodation is through the roof. I hear you, but I mean, Paris and Dublin, like they're two really expensive places. I'm just saying. I'm not having a go. I totally get it. And my accommodation is through the roof as well. I'm probably staying in a shit box. I'm being completely honest with you, but there you go. We got a few comments there about the mic. Cheers, guys. I did ask a question about being able to hear my microphone. I hope it has improved, but I think some could hear me perfectly, some couldn't. So, apologies again on that one. And Darrell O'Connor again. This is about Callum O'Dowda. We also judge him at the Greece game too. Good on you, Darrell. I swear I'm not actually texting him, prompting him. Anyway, Andrew Sherlock. Hope you are well, Martin. See you next month. Andrew Sherlock. Is that a fan?
Yeah, it must be. No, I am good, thank you. Yeah, I'll see you next month.
Who is Andrew Sherlock? Do share.
I'm not going to go into it.
That sounds a bit. All right. I'm moving on.
It's obviously an admirer of Callum O'Dowda, cousin Will, and myself, the Holy Trinity. It's like Best Law and Charlton. Basically the same thing. Martin O'Dowda and Will Smallbone.
Yeah.
do comment if you'd like a t-shirt.
Oh god, and a badge.
Imagine the statue. I have badges. Look,
and a badge.
There you go. Look. If anyone would like,
there we go.
Where are they? There's our Green Machine badges. If you like them, do message us, and we'll sort out some of them.
Yeah, I got some there as well. Behind me, going around. Anyway, Craig Farrell. I was going to go to Amsterdam with my dad, but circumstances I'm in hasn't helped, and also the rigmarole you've got to get through to get a ticket. It's nuts. You've to prove you're traveling and where you're staying puts you off. Well, Graham, I really hope. I'm not going to ask you there, but I hope you said there about your circumstances. I hope you're okay and everything's all right, and hopefully, whatever that is passes. I do understand. Obviously, it is a rigmarole traveling these days. It's not as easy as it was. Unfortunately, a few years ago, and it does put you off, but it is worth it. Like, there's nothing like an Ireland away game. Now, I know I'm normally in the upper crust, Martin, with all the reporters.
Yeah, looking down at us.
Not quite in the ordinary people, although white people, France, we'll see what happens. If I do get my media pass, I will be doing live Wi-Fi pending. Although I know in Paris they'll probably charge me like 50 quid a minute for it. But yeah, there's not like an away game. But no, I hope everything's okay there, Graham. Rob Allendine, we want Manning, not a Dowda. Rob Allendine, you diabolical. They have spoken, Martin. Declan Finnegan.
Poll up.
Have to say, Colin
Jesus,
Dick. They're running around Saturday by Paul Smith from Northern Ireland. And he was destroyed against Norway. He was terrible against Norway. Destroyed in Athens. And I don't know why he did.
That wasn't the thing you said in Norway.
Didn't even play.
That's not what we said.
Didn't even play against Gibraltar. And, now given a run around by Paul Smith of Northern Ireland. Oof, it's not really good. Rob Valentine, also McNamara from Millwall. Yes, actually, that lad is quietly going about his business, Millwall. At Millwall, McNamara, right back. I'm surprised he hasn't really been given a chance, especially with although you do have Festi Alpacelli and James Coleman and Doherty and all that. Did Doherty come on in the end, Martin, did he?
No.
Jesus. So, yeah, his move to Atletico Madrid was great, Martin, wasn't it? I just got over him. Andrew Sherlock, he was man of the match against Leeds last week.
Well done. See, Andrew knows.
All right, Andrew. Andrew Prendergast. Graham Farrell, I can hear you both loud and clear. Good man, Graham. See, as I said, I don't know what happened with the old sound tonight. Darrell O'Connor. Bill, John, Eamon Leems, the greatest panel of all time. Nowhere in the world would you get close to the likes. Even the après match version was hilarious. I still watch it. Yeah, timeless stuff. Brilliant stuff. And the punditry was good. But the entertainment value was just off the charts. Graham Farrell, break it down for you boys. For your boy Sturge. I went scarlet, as we say back home. That means embarrassed Martin. Then he started singing. Don't know why he did that, because the last time he was on, he was decent. Why he's deciding to be Usher, I have no idea. Because he's probably forced at gunpoint by Sky. Get out there and be entertaining. Stephen Rain, welcome back, lads. Thank you very much, Stephen. Missed you last week. Well, it's on the website, greenmachinepodcast.com, and also it is on the YouTube channel as well. By the way, guys, it would be a massive help to us if you head over to YouTube and type in Lansdowne Road Green Machine. We are on there. Give us a subscribe. That would really, really help us out. Anyway, punditry now is absolutely dire. I grew up with Giles, Dunphy, and Brady and Orty, and Hanson and Lawrence in the match of the day. Now we have Jermaine Jennings and Danny Murphy. And that's before we go into Bangalore, Bent, and Pennant on Talk Sport. Yes. Oh, God. I do listen to Talk Sport. The only show I listen to on Talk Sport, Martin, is White and Jordan. And I think I love Simon Jordan. Do you ever listen to that?
No, I stopped listening to it. I would listen to Hawksby and Jacobs. They're quite good in the afternoon.
That's on afterward, that isn't it?
Yeah, they're okay. But no, I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't really listen to it anymore. It's just nonsense, basically. Especially the three lads you mentioned there. They're fucking clowns.
Yeah. I mean, Graham Farrell agrees there. And Bangalore, he's an absolute moron. You could put him, Bent, and Jennings in a mixer and you wouldn't get a good burger out of them. I've never heard that one before. Yeah, no, I agree there. But I do actually. Simon Jordan got me back into watching modern day football because I thought it was all like Daniel Sturridge and this rubbish and Jamie Redknapp and this absolute garbage punditry. When you got somebody coming out and saying what's on his mind, like Dunphy, like a charmless Dunphy.
I like the Simon Jordan stuff when the clips. I kind of see them on Twitter. Basically, that's how I kind of watch it. And I think it's actually worth us chatting about it. He actually had a cancer scare recently, and he said the importance of getting tested for prostate cancer for lads is very important, and it's one of the most curable cancers. So I think that's an important message that he got across.
Silent killer, prostate cancer.
Very, very good. Very good.
Yeah. Get yourselves checked, lads. Get yourselves checked. Silent killer. There's so many people, all different walks of life have had prostate cancer. Glenn Forbes, again, any idea when my club family will be back? And your thoughts on if he'll get a game? Martin, when is he back?
I've not heard when he's back, but I did see something like where he was kind of saying, should he do social media posts or something, or some channel thing he did.
No.
I want him just concentrating on getting fit, because I think he does offer us something different, and we want him being that player who scored that amazing goal against Scotland. That's what we want. And it's going to be very hard for him to make it in the Premier League with Burnley and get chances. But I think he will get chances though. And we just need him to get fit.
Hamstring injury, wasn't it?
It
happened. He did it when he kicked the ball. It was against Gibraltar, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he kicked the ball. And I watched him. And I was like, he's done himself then.
Yeah.
Hamstring injury. That's 6 months, is it? Hamstring?
Can be if you don't get it. I mean, that's the problem that
it's a tear.
De Bruyne seems to be the situation. He's having problems with that at the moment as well.
Can't shake
Champions League final.
Yeah, and weekend. Anyway, back through the last few comments. Stephen Ring, if Evan was to leave, and I would love to see him at a club like Dortmund. Yeah, it's obviously getting game time, playing top football.
He won't go abroad. The money would be in England
or Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, but he's not going to. Profile won't be there for him for that.
David Curley, big fan who needs off the ball. Am I right, lads? You're absolutely spot on, Mr. Curley. Good man, David.
David, yeah.
Yeah, no, to be fair, look, I had a little nibble at them, didn't react to it. I think $9.99 is ridiculous. Look, we have a shop. I understand the needs, for money to make money to make it viable. But at the end of the day, I don't know their pay structure, Martin. I don't know what they get paid. They have sponsorships. I'm sure they're on the way. Some of them are journalists, so they're working as journalists or whatever. And I understand, you want to make a few bob. But I just thought for me, and I don't want to get my soapbox here because but it's just I just thought their argument was like, well, everyone is doing it, so we're going to do it too. That was kind of, for me, that was just the argument for it. I just thought it was poor.
Yeah, I just don't get all the expectation of these paywalls and these pay subscriptions. Like if you've got The Athletic or you've got, it really means you have to subscribe to something that's high quality. And, not all the time you get that. You've got to be very confident in your product that you're going to put it behind a paywall. And I know they all exist and stuff, but that's mad money a month for something that you don't want it all either. And what they do then, they clip all the good bits anyway. But we just want to assure our lovely listeners that we're free.
We are free.
We do this as a labour of love. Let's be honest. We don't make any money out of this, which is the fact of it. So you may think, oh, well, you've got all shirts and stuff. We put money into this, don't we, Dave? And
we do.
Time and we go to games at our own cost. We're not sponsored or anything. So if anyone does want to sponsor us, we'll be more than welcome to discuss things with you. But it's but we are. That's why we say we are genuine fans who go to games, and I think we back that up. You'll see us around Paris. You won't see Dave falling around Paris. You might see me.
No, you won't see me. I remember when I went to Paris in 2009. Obviously, the handball, I was buckled. But not too. But I found a place that was selling pints for like €4. It was good stuff, actually. I don't know where it was. It was with Jack and Charlie, I think it was, 2 lads from Donegal. If they're watching, hello. Lovely guys. Just walked around with them and we got absolutely drunk. And then I got to the stadium and they were like, oh, by the way, you're in the home end. What?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Tucked up, red curly hair, red beard, Irish flags all over my face. Like, just, no hiding that one. But anyway, look, I'll answer notice a coffee page, buy us a coffee. Like, I'll never charge, I'll never put it behind a paywall. I just won't do it. I want many people to share in it. I want, when I set up Lansing Road, and going on my soapbox, we will get through the rest of the comments. When I set up Lansing Road, it was to tell the story, tell the nuts and bolts of the Irish football team. We were a fabulous team at one stage, number 6 in the world and one of the very top teams in world football. I want to share that for younger generations like Nick. No, but in all seriousness, like, I wanted to share that story. I don't want to put it behind a paywall. Now, I do ask the whole coffee thing, give us if you can give us a $5 or whatever, like, it would help us out because you got to source these things, you got to pay for that. But I'd never charge. I never would. Although sponsorship, I'm very much interested in, as we both are. But no, I believe it's it should be for everybody. But that's my belief. Anyway, right, we're gonna crack through the last few. We're gonna wrap this up. Graham Farrell, 9:30 p.m. Sunday. It is grand. # Kenny Nomad. That is my expression. Graham, you get your own one, pal. That's all right. I like Graham. You can use it. Stephen Ring, fully agree with Darryl. Time to say goodbye to Dad. Good lad, Stephen. Good lad. David Curley, Stephen Kenny giving our lads better transfer status. Think some cred deserved for giving Ferguson and Benny stats before they were well recognised. There is, I do believe, Martin, we'll talk quickly on this one. I do believe there is some meat to that bone, and that's what always. I never got it when certain players wouldn't play for their country, and I do. With Mick, used to play the lad's quite young, didn't he? And he put him in the shop window, and I think that actually did help Robbie Keane when he was younger. It did help Damien Duff. I mean, what got the move for Duff to Chelsea? It was his appearance in the World Cup, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And what he did. So I do think he has helped, and I think that's a massive bonus and a massive part of playing younger lads, and something that Martin O'Neill never did, something that Trapattoni never did, and Brian Kerr kind of did. But I think that's a massive part of it as well. Maybe not a massive part, but it's definitely a part of it. Anyway, sorry, another soapbox there. Graham Farrell, hated story kits. They are awful. David Curley. Lastly, what's your thoughts on Andrew Moore and Brighton? Dan McDonald's always raving about him. It could be the man for him, actually, wouldn't he? And he's not on. He'd know more about that. About
Moran, yeah.
Andy
Look,
Moran.
he's just got to play, and interesting this time of year as well. You do get the League Cup comes. Some people on the periphery of the squad of their club squads do get opportunities in the League Cup and the other little cups they play as well. So I think that will be an opportunity for him or anyone who's not, getting back to fitness or getting opportunities. So that's where I think they're going to be on the radar. But like you just said, Dave, I think Kenny should get credit for putting these lads in the shop window. Keith Andrews, I remember being on TalkSport years ago saying we have to remind the clubs of the caliber of the players they've got in their reserves. Like Omar Bamadelli, no one knew who he was years ago, a couple of years ago, and he was. I watched him down for the world. Yeah, linked with Milan
in January.
Yeah. We've got to remember that a lot of these. Even, for example, I went down to Wales in the lockdown and I saw the under-21s. Omar Bamadelli played there. Was brilliant, I thought. McGuinness was centre back as well. He's at Cardiff now. Jonathan Ofalabi is at Bowes and playing very, very well. I think actually he's one. It's sad that again Nick's not on because I think if he keeps scoring goals, he's one that you've got to be looking at. He could get a move eventually to England. I know he was over here before, but over here I say. But I think these lads are in the shop window, and fair play to Keith Andrews, Jim Crawford, and Stephen Kenny for fast tracking some of these young lads. Even with the goalkeepers, we brought them in, trusted them, and they in the main deliver. But they're very young lads. You got to remember that, and they're going to need time. And when you look at that Ireland squad in 3 to 4 years' time, they will have a lot of caps between them.
Yeah.
And be very, very experienced. And, I think Evan is the one to be most excited about.
Of course. Right. Going to try and get through these last few comments and we'll wrap this up. Graham Farrell, did you see Manning's mistake for Southampton the weekend? I don't think I did, actually. As for David, I've so wanted him to succeed, but he's not getting anywhere, in my opinion. It's true. Sinclair's not ready for a full international yet, says Declan Finnegan. Glenn Forbes, now that the Premier League is a league played over 38 games and Man City win it, what's your predictions for the 3 teams getting relegated and who do you think will be promoted from the Championship? Which Irish players in any league do you think will have breakout seasons? Thanks again. Then Burnley, Luton, and I reckon Wolves. I reckon Wolves are going to go down.
I think Luton's certainty to go down. I think Sheffield United will go down. I think Everton, they just don't impress me at all. I've no problem with them going down either, to be honest. Chambers will be finished with them by then.
They were robbed the weekend, though, weren't they? That should never be called away, that goal. I mean, the goalie just jumped into the player. Yeah.
I do want Burnley to stay up, though. Because I watched them last year a lot with Josh Cullen and stuff, and I know you hate Josh Cullen, so
I don't hate Josh Cullen.
We should just kind of make a hype with Josh O'Dowd or something, so you can hammer them both in one sentence. But yeah, I'd like Burnley. I think the story of Burnley's good, and I do really like Vincent Kompany. I think he's an up and coming coach, and I like the way he interacts with the teams and stuff. And
I am going to watch. There's a Burnley documentary on Sky. I'm going to watch that.
Very, very good. Really good.
Yeah. Also, I do think Everton will be around the drain. There will be circling the drain, but there you go. Hopefully we answered those questions. Moving on. Graham. Great to have you back, lads. Should be regular Irish review every Monday night. We might review that. We're going to be Sunday or Monday, but we do try to balance it around our life. This is not, unfortunately, a professional gig just yet. Although you guys out there can make that happen. But anyway, until you get sick of us and we start demanding $9.99 a month. But anyway, Darrell O'Connor, although I don't share your love for Dowd and Martin, New Jersey, memorabilia collection is class.
Thank you. I can't go into how much more stuff I've got. I'm not hidden away from the wife.
Don't let your wife know.
Costly is what I'd say. It's costly.
Definitely don't tell your wife that. Greg, we definitely need a left back. Any chance of getting Dennis Kirkin? He was left out of the squad the weekend, wasn't he? Kirkin. Dublin-born lad.
Yeah, we do need it. Look, we could play Matt Doherty there. What are we worrying about? Darragh O'Shea can play there as well on the left. Let's not forget that.
Or Jason Knight as well. No, he played in the right, didn't he?
The right. You kept fucking up with that, Jesus. Actually, Jason Knight has started. Fair play to him. Started off very, very well with
2 goals.
Bristol, yeah, and brilliant during the week. So, yes, really good.
Very good. Stephen Ring. Sorry.
Nope, didn't say anything.
Stephen Ring, as regards to Amsterdam away, a few of us are flying to Brussels doing a night and then getting a train to Amsterdam, saving a fortune. I say that's going to be one hell of a journey, Mr. Ring. Liam Elbridge, Evan Ferguson, 11 goals and 26 Brighton appearances, 10 as a sub since start of last season. Only 5 players currently in PL Premier League that scored more than 15 in the same time. Haaland, Rashford, Salah, Wilson, Tony. Brighton will be looking to cash in if opportunity arises, as they have done with Cucurella, Casadio, and McAllister in the last 12 months. That's interesting. Great answers there, actually, Liam. Thank you very much for that.
That's my nephew, Liam.
Hello, Liam.
That's Will Smallburn's cousin.
Oh,
well, because I'm his cousin, aren't I? So he's going to be related as well.
Yeah. Hello. No, fantastic. No,
that is good knowledge. That is a good knowledge.
That is very good knowledge there. And listen, I do think Brighton will. It's the money ball thing, isn't it? I do think they will sell. Look, if Tottenham come in with about and throw ridiculous money, or Liverpool tried to buy him, then Chelsea nip it. The 11th hour, as they keep doing. They're gonna sell him. Of course they are. Graham Farrell, Tom Cannon, will he stay or fuck off?
Jesus.
Who knows, Graham? I think. Look, he's still at Everton, isn't he?
Yeah, he was on the bench the other day. Didn't come on.
Yeah. So I think he might actually suffer because Everton are the next club up. So reason why they lost Lopetegui and Gary Neal went to Wolves was because of the 3-year window that clubs had for, and I'm going somewhere with this, that clubs had for the COVID, for the financial fair play. So basically you had 3 years to kind of do what you have to do to get through COVID, and then we'll start back after 3 years. So that 3-year period is gone. So Wolves were facing financial difficulty, fair play rules. That's why Lopetegui's buggered off. And he's like, right, I'm not, whatever's happened there, he's not doing it. And now Everton look to be the next club that are going to suffer with financial fair play rules as well in the Premier League. So that's why they brought in players like Ashley Cole and all of that. So I think where he is going to suffer is that they probably can't afford to put him on loan because he won't be able to get anyone in and they need to keep him on the bench. But because they're going to struggle, he probably won't get a lot of game time. And I think he might rather been on the bench, and I think that's unfortunate for him. So I think he's going to be the victim of that. That's my personal prediction. I'm not saying I hope it happens, by the way. And then he might, all of a sudden, rediscover, Graham, the era. He might get a draw for Ireland all of a sudden.
Will he be welcome back? That's the thing.
He would. I might take him. It's good enough. Well, Michael Robinson did the same thing, didn't he? What was it? He was, his dream was to play for England and, everything, all this. And then all of a sudden, when his England career didn't take off, he was at Preston. I know he thinks at Brighton, and all of a sudden he was like, Irish to the core. But, does happen, doesn't it? Glenn Forbes. Hopefully the karma of all his comment out it is him coming on versus France and scoring the winner. Do you know what, Glenn? I'd be the first one to say, well done, Callum. Well done. But it's not going to happen. And I'd say, Martin, tell Callum I said well done. I would. I'd happily eat my hat. No, I wouldn't do that because I'd probably end up in hospital. I would eat my words. I'm not going to type them out.
That day is coming. I tell you.
Yeah. Glenn Forbes, hopefully the karma. Hopefully the karma for all of this comment out abuse is him scoring a win against France.
Yeah.
That's the same comment.
No, it's slightly different.
It is slightly different. What's happening
going
there?
on? Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah. Graham Farrell will be grand eventually, but yeah, I'll be pushing my dad for years to do it, but he will eventually. That's to go on an away game, I presume. Darryl O'Connor, again, I'm generally positive, but I'm starting to do Nations League calculations to work out how we get a playoff. Wise. Stephen Ring, lads, I wouldn't listen to most of off the ball lads when they were free, so charging a tenner for the shocking innings when we have the best Irish football chat. So there you go, Stephen. That's what we're about, you see. About the fans. We are the voice of the fans. Graham Farrell, Sports Bar, 10 p.m. and Wayne Jordan, the only good shows on Talk Sport. Good lad. Graham, hard to have a subscriber base at no viewers. Off the ball, thinks they are the Athletic. Let's see how many sponsors they have with current viewing figures. To be fair, I mean, we're not exactly pulling up trees, but you get a couple of hundred views, don't they? Like I don't understand the logic behind it, but anyway. Daryl O'Connor, if you still know that place that sells pints for £4 a day, please send it on. I doubt probably charge you £4 to get into it. I was well hammered at that point, Daryl, and I always never forget turning around and say to John and Charlie, and we were having a discussion about Drogba and Henry. He said, you know what's really good about Henry? He never cheats. He's not like that Drogba fella where he throws himself on the ground and he's rolling around. Henry just gets on with the game. Honest conversation. And Graham Farrell, we're going to give you the last comment. Graham, your return to the Green Machine. 442, do it. It's the only one I pay for. It's £12 every 3 months. No bother. Let's collect them anyway. Hope you stay free, as the debates are amazing and I love watching. Keep up the good work, lads. Thank you very much, Graham. No, we will be free. Like, at the end of the day, we will, we are looking for sponsorship. We are looking for stuff like that. But that's sponsorship. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I have to sit here and flog something, and it keeps us doing it, nothing wrong with that, is there?
No, we've got the shirts, we've got the badges and stuff. But again, like, we're not charging the world for them and stuff. It's to help support the pod, so it's appreciated.
It is neat. And
getting the word out there.
And by the way, head over to the shop, greenmachinepodcast.com/shop if you want to get yourself one of these bad boys. Or come on, Martin, get one of your lovely badges out.
That's the badge set. Well, it's bad, my camera, isn't it? But yeah, that's the badge set. Yeah, so the free Green Machine. Yeah, we've given them away as well in Dublin. But yeah, if you do want to buy any, let us know. Or catch us. We just want to promote the pod, obviously. So that does help us spread the word. Subscribe, tell your friends, and if you don't like something on the pod, tell us.
Yeah, tell us. Like, my microphone not working. Apologies again for that. Anyway, but listen, we've gone well over here. But you know why we went well over? Because we were enjoying it, weren't we? We were. We're actually enjoying talking to you guys. So thank you so much for sticking with us and supporting us. And I'm going to start playing the music now because we're going to get this one out. Here we are. Funky music. Right, that is all we have time for on this episode of the Green Machine Live. We will be back next Sunday at 9:30. That's next Sunday at 9:30, Graham, if you're watching still. Thank you very much for watching at home. Thank you very much, Martin, for joining us. Do remember you can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, or X, and please head over to the YouTube channel and give us a subscribe. We're trying to build that up because we're thinking of putting on a few Ireland clips on there. Get the old viewership up there on the old YouTube. So we really do appreciate your support, and also give us a 5-star review as well. It really does help. But anyway, we're going to leave it there. We're going to see you next week. We might have some content out during the week, but do head over to greenmachinepodcast.com. It's the greenmachinepodcast.com where you can get loads more stuff. Anyway, good night.